What's up, XRP family? Let's dig in, guys. We have some nice things to show you here. We have Brett Garlinghouse talking about working together with banks and making private transactions. Because imagine this, you're working with the biggest banks of the whole world, right? You don't want everyone to see those transactions. That's a public ledger, right? And that's actually, he hints here that there is a private CBDC ledger where they can see their transactions, but not open to the worldwide world, because it would not be very it would not be good if people could just see all the bank's transactions, right? Of course, that's actually transparency and that's how it should be, but we know that we don't live in a world like that. So the thing is here, he's actually hinting to that private network that they're setting out for banks that they are using. And you can clearly see here, Ripple has confirmed the creation of a private CBDC on the XRP ledger in order to offer central banks transaction privacy and control over their currency, right? That is why CBDCs are centralized. They're not a decentralized currency, because that's Bitcoin, right? So there is a difference for that. Let's take a look.
We launched that product. We were partnered with one of the largest banks in the Middle East, and we went to market and we went live. And we had a call from a very upset Middle Eastern banker saying, wait a minute, people can see my transactions. I don't want people to see my transactions. So look, blockchain is powerful and a public ledger can be leveraged to make transactions. But banks, I mean, if every SCB transaction was written to a public ledger, would SCB be excited about that? The answer is no, I'll tell you very certainly. The nature of how we have evolved our technology, yes, some of it, XRP is a public open ledger. A different part of Ripple's technology that connects banks to the liquidity solutions, these are private, think about it almost as a private temporary blockchain between two banks. It's cryptographically signing the transaction, holding it in escrow and releasing it at the same time, so you never have a situation where a transaction doesn't complete. We launched that product.
That is insane, guys. A private blockchain network where two banks are working together. Can you see how powerful this technology is? Why do you think they're working with the largest banks? SCB is the biggest bank in Thailand. So, and he's talking about having also worked with a big bank in the UAE. So you can see here that Ripple is building these blocks and building these foundations to be used for like cross-border payments and everything. Banks are going to use this, guys. Open your eyes. People still do not believe. There's still people out there looking at these videos. It's the biggest chance in your whole life. Again, ask yourself this: how is it possible that everybody went apeshit over Michael Saylor buying Bitcoin in 2020 for just 250 million initially, but Tether grew from 4.12 billion to 10 billion over the course of 2020, and now company reported putting billions in crypto? Now listen, guys. The most, like the best catalyst for XRP to go up is the collapse of Tether. Listen, Tether is the only crypto company out there right now that is the biggest red flag. You have to be absolutely careful. If you have your funds in USDT and you think that you are safe, you are making a very, very big mistake. Tether is constantly reminding everyone that they are backed by real dollar and that they have assets and treasury and safe haven stuff. Guys, it's not true. You have to be careful. It is the same with FTX, right? It is the same thing, and it will happen once Tether collapses. That is the main catalyst for XRP to go up. Why? Because listen, if USDT explodes, the value of a real digital asset that has been regulated will be a lot, guys. That's the moment it will go sky high and decouple itself from all of crypto. So you have to understand that this is a connection that has to be made. Tether is a really big red flag, and they're gonna go after it sooner or later. Look at this. I look forward to the FTX hearing next month. Since our hearing with SEC and director, where I highlighted concerns about selective enforcement, we've seen a massive failure by SEC to detect deter fraud at FTX. What else are they missing? Listen, guys, this is Warren Davidson, former Army Ranger serving Ohio's 8th District in Congress. This is a member of Congress. It's not compassionate to bankrupt America financially or morally. Good governments defend freedom. Now, he's asking some serious questions in this video, guys. Just listen carefully and tell me that Gary Gensler is not in a very tight situation here.
We can clarify some of the things here. I just want to clarify, I think enforcement's a very important function for the SEC, and so thank you and those who are committed to doing it honestly and ethically as part of our government at the Securities and Exchange Commission. But fundamentally, are digital assets exempt from treatment as pump and dump scams?
No, we've seen pump and dump schemes involving digital assets.
How many enforcement actions have been taken by the SEC?
Again, I'd have to provide you that information at a later date.
I'd appreciate that. And frankly, I'm curious why some of the biggest ones that look from an outsider, like probably pump and dump scams, don't get targeted. Why are they selectively? I mean, seems like some things are given a pass and some things are targeted. What's the criteria for targeting?
There's no selective prosecution. We have to balance the risk that we're seeing with the resources that we have, and we have a number of investigations.
Maybe the big ones take too many resources to go after, so you just say, well.
So the first mistake he makes is he says there is no selective enforcement. Well, of course there is selective enforcement. You always have to make a selection to create a selection to make actually a regulation, right? They have to choose companies. It's not like, oh, these are the first 10 companies, let's take that one. See, this is already why you see that they're lying, guys. And they have to answer for this. It's not gonna just go, and this is all planned, by the way. This is all planned, guys. Understand that.
They'll get a pass?
No, I'm very proud of the work that the 1,300 women, men in my division do. They don't give people a pass. They hold violators accountable.
Okay, let me run a hypothetical scenario by you. Say an SEC official gives a speech at a conference, and the official begins, of course, by stating that, quote, their views are their own and not necessarily those of the commission. Anyone who's ever heard an SEC office official speak would know that this is standard, and they would not interpret the speech as legal guidance. However, let's say that the SEC official consulted SEC staff and perhaps even ethics directly to assist them in writing speech or giving guidance. Under this scenario, would the written speech still be considered personal views of the individual and not views of the commission?
Respectfully, I can't answer that right now because that hypothetical is a real scenario that's playing out in litigation.
Oh, what litigation would that be?
That would be the Ripple litigation.
Ripple XRP. So is it true that Director Hinman submitted his speech to ethics for approval?
Again, I can't comment on pending litigation.
Wow, he just can't answer stuff that is pending, right? But you can clearly see here, guys, this is the Congress interfering here with asking about this. And this is not going to go unheard. And remember, this is all directed to one conclusion, guys. That's why XRP and Ripple will be regulated and they will win. Same video posted on TikTok, community guideline violation here on Twitter goes viral. Such a fun social experiment this is. We are played, know the game. Bold prediction for 2023, ICE 9 banking freeze. Insane. He has, so this is Coach JV, which really talks a lot about XRP. As I really like this guy, and he just made a video which has been actually delisted from TikTok. So that says enough, right? And look the subject. Now that's crazy. That should show you a lot of things, guys, that they are holding back real stuff. XRP provides massive utility and masterfully serves the purpose of payment facilitation. The value of XRP can finally be realized as adoption increases and usage goes live. Unlike many other crypto projects that are based purely on speculation, Ripple has proven utility is value. How true is this? Just look in the crypto environment. Why do you think all crypto is collapsing right now? It's getting filtered, and I wouldn't be surprised if 99% wouldn't survive end of this year, guys. I think December is going to be a filter process, and January XRP is going to be regulated, the only digital asset ever being regulated, and that they're going to make a Ripple test. Yes, I know Ripplenet doesn't use XRP. Let's take a look.
Leveraging the XRPL for cross-border payments. You did a fantastic video, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, breaking down many of the central banks around the world that are not only gearing up, but ready. So if you could just list a few of the largest central banks on the planet that are ready to make this ISO migration, and just tell our listeners why it's necessary to make that shift. If you don't shift into ISO protocols, what's going to happen to these banks?
So I don't have a list to mind. It was quite long and overwhelmingly so that I didn't even memorize it, even though I should have. Bank of America. The reason Bank of America is significant is because they've been a partner of Ripple's for a while. So they've been using something called Ripple for a while, just as many other institutions have, central banks have been doing. And so the common argument there is, why isn't the price going up if they're using it? And this is the big thing that everyone's missing, is that basically Ripplenet is a system that banks can work on to send payments, send normal fiat payments. So if I want to pay pounds to Australian dollars or Canadian dollars, I can do that on Ripplenet, and it doesn't affect the XRP price because it doesn't use XRP, right? And so everyone uses that as an argument against me. However, what they don't understand is that when you're just using Ripplenet, you're not utilizing on-demand liquidity. And the secret source of the XRP ledger is on-demand liquidity. On-demand liquidity is what uses XRP. So again, when you see that news, when companies say, we're not using XRP, we're not using XRP, we're using Ripplenet, and you go, wait, but what happens when this ISO thing comes into play and you're actually having to convert payments and settle payments from blockchain environments through the messaging bus, which is a whole other conversation, to integrate then with the messaging system and settle blockchain payments? You've got to use the ODL. You literally have to. And so you have to move away from Ripplenet. Yeah, it's fascinating to me. The thing I hear about a lot of people, come up with something like that XRP is not used in Ripplenet. I know they're right, and they are right. Just a little bit more digging, and they would truly get to where they were trying to get to.
Exactly. So a lot of people think Ripplenet, you're not using XRP. We have this argument for years, guys, going on. And I remember very well that people were saying this always, but now it's come to light already that XRP is being used. On-demand liquidity is the biggest thing ever, and it will be utilized. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. See you in the next one. Cheers.